Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heartbeat of the African diaspora. Download our African Diaspora News Channel app now on Google Play and Apple App Store. Stay informed with authentic and diverse perspectives, breaking news, and cultural insights. Immerse yourself in a community that celebrates unity, resilience, and progress. Experience the vibrancy of the diaspora at your fingertips. Don't miss out. Empower your perspective today. Search African Diaspora News Channel and join the conversation.
Similang abseni ralota sanmanani mulweni. My name is Naledi Mfoloe, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News Channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our community. Let's get into it, because this is a bold and no hands buried move by Miss Ivory Coast 2025 beauty contest, right? And the decision to ban weaves, wigs, and hair extension during the pre-selection stage is a controversial move, but I believe it's also an act of defiance against colonial beauty standards that have long sought to actually suppress African identity. Now, first off, let me say it. This is Africa's moment to redefine beauty. Because for so long, we've been caught up in these Western ideals of beauty that actually dictate what is considered attractive. Now, our natural hair has been labeled as unmanageable or too much. And don't even get me started on the constant pressure to fix our hair just to feel accepted, right? Because Miss Ivory Coast is now saying enough. The move to embrace a natural hair is in all its forms, whether it's long, short, braided, or shaved, is not just a statement, but it's a challenge. I think that personally, it's a challenge to every single person, industry, or institution that has ever made African women feel like they weren't good enough without artificial enhancement. Here's the thing, though, right? This is controversial for a reason. It shakes the very foundation of how we've been conditioned to see beauty, because we've been told for many generations that to be beautiful, you need to fit in a mold that's often not even our own. And I'm sure that there are some people that will say that this move is too radical or it's going to limit the contestants, but they'll argue that some women just like the option of wearing wigs or weaves for personal expressions. But the truth is, this isn't about stopping women from expressing themselves, no, but it's about encouraging authenticity, and it's about pushing African women to love and own what make them unique. And look, right, beauty pageants around the world have often been about fitting into a narrow Eurocentric ideal. But what Miss Ivory Coast is doing is flipping the script and making it clear that African women don't need to change themselves to fit into someone else's idea of beauty. This move could spark a much needed revolution across the continent, and it's about shifting the narrative. Now, I love the adjustments that they've made beyond just the hair policy, like lowering the height requirement and extending the age limit. That's progress, because it says that beauty isn't just about looking a certain way, but it's about who you are, how you carry yourself, and the confidence you actually bring, because there's more to a woman than just her physical attributes. And I'm here for any competition, darling, that actually broadens the scope of who gets to be celebrated. I believe it's also telling that Marlene Kwasi, who was crowned Miss Ivory Coast in 2022, was actually a big influence in pushing this change, because Marlene's victory was a huge statement that African women with short natural hair could also be celebrated on a global stage. It was proof that beauty doesn't have to conform to what is expected. And her participation in the pageant with short hair was a small act of defiance against the very standard that this new rule is now challenging. And I guess it paid off, because now the Miss Ivory Coast pageant is taking that momentum and running with it. So as an African, I am cheering for Miss Ivory Coast's decision, and I believe that this is a stand for self-acceptance and a celebration of our roots and a much-needed shift in how we actually view ourselves. And yes, it's controversial. Yes, it challenges the norm, but sometimes I think that the most revolutionary things are the ones that shake us up and make us uncomfortable and ultimately sets us free. What are your thoughts on this? Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. I really want to hear what your opinion is on this. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this